All right, welcome to part 2 of how to buy a house. Part 2. In part 2, you're going to learn how to get pre-qualified. Let's do it. Getting pre-qualified is the most important thing. This basically gives you a ticket to buy a house. A pre-qualification letter will allow you and your agent to go out and look at homes. So, how do you get pre-qualified? Simple answer is call a loan officer and answer their questions. But I'm going to give you everything that you should know and what to expect in this process. When you call the loan officer, it does help to have a pay stub in front of you. You don't need it, but that will help. It'll also help if you have any credit card statements or any student loan statements or anything like that in front of you to give them a full picture and accurate numbers. But if you don't have that, don't hesitate. Still call, get pre-qualified. That's the most important thing. The loan officer is going to want to run your credit to see what your credit score is. Typically, you're going to need a 580 or higher. Realistically, 600's a lot better. But 580 is typically the minimum right now. Things change all the time, but that's what it is right now. You're also going to need a 2-year work history if you're working a regular W-2 or payroll type of job. If you have breaks in employment, that could be an issue, but you're going to have to talk to the loan officer about that. Students, an important thing to know is that school counts as work experience in this category, strangely. So if you graduate college and you went to college for 2 years or more, once you have 60 days on the job, you actually will have enough work experience to qualify and get a mortgage. If you are self-employed or a lot of your income comes from commission, mortgage companies will look at that differently. So you're going to want to have your tax returns for that. And normally they're going to average the last 2 years together to come up with your actual annual income. Once you provide your income information, the loan officer is going to calculate your DTI or debt to income. Now, if you want to understand that, I have another video. You're going to want to click this thing again right here, and that'll take you there, and then come back and let's finish the video. Debt to income is basically showing how much money you have left over after you pay off all your debts. Typically, you're going to want to have a 50% debt to income ratio at the worst. Typically, you're going to tell the loan officer that you want to get pre-qualified for $200,000 or $250,000, and then they're going to calculate what the mortgage would be based off of that and current interest rates. Now, the complicated part is what the property taxes are. They could vary from $1,000 to $10,000 depending on what area you're living. And that number will also factor into the debt to income ratio. So basically, you want to make sure that they're using the right property tax number or estimate so that they're not over or under qualifying you. That's why it's good to have me as an agent, because I used to work as a loan officer and I can communicate with them to make sure we're on the same page with that so that they're not giving you too low of a qualification or too high of a qualification. The reason I bring that up is because if the sales price you're qualified for is $200,000, well, it depends on if it's $200,000 and $5,000 in taxes or $200,000 and $10,000 in taxes, because if the taxes are higher than what they estimated, you actually wouldn't not be able to qualify once you put the offer in. So basically, your qualification is actually based on your monthly payment and not the total sales price, because there's other variables. So for example, if there's flood insurance on one house versus another, you will not be able to qualify as high to purchase one home versus the other because it has an additional flood insurance requirement. Now that sounds like a lot. I'm going to guide you through it. If you have questions, that's why you have an agent to support you and make sure everything's taken care of. And I'll advise you, hey, this property is in a flood zone and you're going to have to pay that insurance, which is going to make your monthly payment higher, and we could have qualification issues. Building off of your debt to income ratio, there's some other factors. So if you have a car payment that's close to being paid off, or you have credit card debt, you can increase the amount that you would qualify for if you pay those off. Now, if you need the money more importantly than you need to be able to qualify higher, I suggest you don't pay them off. But if you want to qualify to buy a more expensive house. It will help if you do pay them off. And this is a conversation that we're going to have with the loan officer. That's why it's important to have people working as a team, because we're going to help you do that. So don't freak out about it, but understand that there's times where you should pay off debt and there's times where you should not pay off debt before you buy a home. And basically, once you sort all that stuff out, you're going to get a pre-qualification letter, and this is going to make you a serious buyer, and that opens up the world to you, basically. You're going to be able to buy a home. A pre-qualification letter or a pre-approval letter is very, very important. It's going to unlock a lot of doors for you. And basically, once you get that, you're going to be on your way to buying a home. It is the most important step. Once you're able to clear this step, you're good. You're golden. You're able to buy a home. And so if you are thinking about buying a house, but you're not sure if you can, you definitely want to try to get pre-qualified by contacting a loan officer. If you don't know who to contact me. I will help you find someone, or if you're in my area, I have some people that will definitely be able to help you. So that's basically it for getting pre-qualified. There's a lot more details, but they're very specific to your situation. So this is a situation where you want to have a good loan officer and a good realtor who are working together in your best interest so that you don't miss anything. It can be very complicated. There's a lot of variables, and so it's hard to solve for multiple variables until we start filling them in. And so my advice, make sure you contact a loan officer. Don't wait. Go on out there, get on the phone, give them a call today. Don't wait. It's not a big deal. Call the loan officer and get pre-qualified, because this is the biggest step. And once you clear this, everything's golden from there. And this concludes How to Buy a House Part 2. Get pre-qualified. If you do have questions, make sure you leave it in the comments or contact me directly. I'd love to help you out. I have a good network of loan officers if you need someone to contact to get pre-qualified. And so that's it, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Cut.